This past Saturday, we were supposed to get the coronation of a new undisputed super welterweight champion of the world. What we ended up with instead was a fantastic fight that was fought to a draw between Brian Castaño and Charlo. And in my previous video, check it out if you haven't already, I spoke about Charlo and what I feel like is the disrespect towards him because he lacks in a lot of boxing publications pound for pound list. I still hold him to a high regard, and this past fight was more or less a testament to how good Brian Castaño is. This fight had it all. It was truly a classic at 154. There was drama. Both men hurt each other. Castaño, who usually comes in with high volume and throws punches in bunches, was somewhat reduced to a more tame version of himself, and Charlo was able to keep his composure and poise throughout most of the fight. He was wobbled, he was hurt himself, and he was also able to administer some pain. He was able to catch and put Brian Castaño on the back foot for most of the second round and the 10th round, and which almost seemed like he was gonna be able to put Castaño away. Fortunately for the Argentinian fighter, he was able to maintain his and fought back in both instances and showed the world exactly what he's made out of. I still hold Charlo in high regard because of the string of opponents he has fought against. Fights like these, draws like these will happen. I really think that Charlo is catching a lot of heat, not only from the fans, but other fellow fighters alike, like Terrence Bud Crawford, who's pretty much bashing on Charlo. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. People like to kick others while they're down, but it's just the way things are. One thing that was really atrocious, however, was Nelson Vasquez's scorecard. He had Charlo up 117 to 111, and I really don't see how anybody could have had Charlo up that much in this fight. I just don't understand it. I can't see Charlo getting more than 7 rounds if you're giving him a lot of the swing rounds and if you're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Me personally, I had Brian win the fight on first watch, 8 rounds to 4, 7 to 5 on the second watch, and you know what? I'm okay with the draw. I really think that both fighters did what they could and gave us a hell of a show. I think Charlo lacked his uppercuts. If he would have introduced the uppercuts into the fight, he would have had a lot more success. I also feel like Jermell was too tentative. He was waiting far too much for him to be able to catch and shoot or be able to counter him in between Castaño's punches, and at times there was far too much patience on his end. He is a ferocious and tenacious fighter, but it really lacked throughout most of the fight because of how much he was banking on his one-punch knockout power to come through. Unfortunately, it didn't. It almost seemed like it would, but it didn't for him at the end of the 12 rounds. Brian Castaño, on the other hand, he was reluctant at times to throw punches, but when he did, he had a lot of success. I think in a rematch, both fighters would do a lot better. Both fighters would be a lot more comfortable, and we really need an undisputed 154-pound champion. We really need to start consolidating these weight divisions, and right now both fighters are on the PBC side, so the rematch wouldn't be all that hard to make. I know Charlo ended up putting it all on Al Heyman and pretty much just wants some time away to think and, relax. In the broadcast, there was also mention about, potential mandatories being in the way for the rematch, and Brian Castaño on his end wants the immediate rematch. He wants to go straight into it, but we'll see where all this leads up to. It seems like both men really think they won. If anything, like I said, I think I'm headed more towards Castaño. I think Castaño had the most success throughout most of the rounds, but nevertheless, Charlo really pulled through at the end. He really showed what I meant by him being arguably amongst the top 10 pound for pound fighters in the world. He came through in a fight where he was behind, and a lot of people's eyes came close to or swept the championship rounds, and he did it in a strong and authoritative manner. Charlo is a hellacious fighter, and this fight was fantastic. I really wish that Nelson Vasquez's scorecard wouldn't have taken so much away from it, because again, this was a really good fight, and I really hope to see the rematch in the not so distant future. If there is a rematch, however, who do you guys think will take it? Do you think Brian Castaño will come back and make it a decisive victory, or will Charlo make the adjustments needed in order for him to overcome the volume puncher from Argentina? Let me know in the comment section below. Like always, like, comment, subscribe, and click on that notification bell to stay in the loop and keep up whenever I drop my latest videos. Like always, this is Shay at KMB signing out.